obviously the water is a major issue. That's what's been getting a lot of the attention right now. But it seems like there's a lot of other issues too that have been kind of swept under the rug, and that Jackson isn't getting the attention it deserves. I've been talking with residents every day that I've been here, and I mean, you hear about like the roads, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, you're driving through an obstacle course to get to a lot of these different places. When you look into it, it seems like Jackson historically is not getting the funding from the state proportionally that it deserves. And frankly, like a lot of that money is going to more, proportionally going to more affluent, frankly, more white areas, and places like Jackson, which are lower income, again, frankly, more proportionally more black, are getting left in the dust here, and no one seems to give a shit, unfortunately. And I mean, I've only been here for a couple of days. You've grown up here, I'm assuming, and you know more than I do. But I mean, what does that tell you? How does it feel to be living here, and you're having to fend for yourselves, starting these organizations when the government can't come in and meet any of the needs of the people? I mean,
right.
It's a shame.
So I definitely, I feel it's kind of shameful on the part of the state and government right now, the way they have left Jackson in this position and have left us for many years, because you have not been supposed to drink the water in Jackson for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So people in the 80s and 70s were talking about, we need to fix the water, and why don't they care about this population and what's going on and things like that. But quite frankly, I do think that the state, Mississippi state government, is racist, and this is particularly, this is an attack on black people in our communities, and just doesn't make any sense why we wouldn't be able to have basic human resources and needs that are provided to every other area around here. So yes, it's very shameful on behalf of the state, and it does feel very desperate staying in this area when you can't trust the water coming out of your tap. So, and we still have to shower and brush our teeth in this water, and we absorb everything that is in our body. So it's like we just have to absorb all these toxins and things like that, and that aren't safe, while other neighboring counties will have safe water that they can depend on. And then it just causes you to look at the population and what's the big difference here. Jackson is poor and brown and black, and the neighboring areas are predominantly white and have more money. So, and that just is really why we keep doing this work, because we know this area, Jackson, deserves a level of dignity that everyone else gets. We deserve basic human rights, and yeah.
So I'm here with Maddie from Cooperation Jackson. We are currently at a site that they've all set up for water distribution. I guess if you want to, first talk about what you all have going on today, and then talk about what Cooperation Jackson is as a whole.
All right, so today we're giving out waters to the community. This is our third water giveaway, I believe, in the past couple weeks. The last time we were giving away water was during the crisis, when it was the water froze over in the pipes and we didn't have running water. A lot of people didn't have running water at that time. But so yes, for the past couple weeks we've been kind of flooded with lots of attention and support around these issues. But Jackson has been long neglected for the past decades, and as long as Jackson's history, really, for me and my family, that's what we've realized. And just being in a state that doesn't support you, the city is left with not many resources, and that leaves the community and the population just to be kind of left just to their own devices for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so you see a lot of how that affects the community when your needs are not being met and you don't see how you can get your needs met.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I've only been here for a couple days, but the gist that I've been seeing is it seems like everyone is kind of having to fend for themselves.
Right.
Luckily for a lot of folks, there are organizations like yours, and I've met a lot of folks involved with a lot of other organizations setting things up like this and doing deliveries and whatnot. But the response from the government seems to be lacking majorly.
Right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what Cooperation Jackson is and what it does, outside of when there are water crises like this?
Yes. So Cooperation Jackson is a network of cooperatives, and we all work to try to develop a more cooperative style of interacting with each other in a professional and just a community setting. So just working to build self-determination and help grow just sovereignty in the community. And so we do have a cooperative around food sovereignty. We have a few farms going on in the neighborhood, and we also have a cooperative around lawn care. So we work, and since we manage a community land trust, we try to have the lawn care cover the community land trust properties and things like that. So yeah, and cooperate. Well, we really just try to meet the needs where we can, and we're really working on raising just awareness about having people know that we're here and make our presence known. Like purchasing this shopping plaza we're at now. We're working to create a people's grocery store right in here in the next few years. So yeah, right now, just giving away water to the community where it's needed, and probably going to work on some deliveries soon.
You mentioned, like, people for a long time have been boiling the water.
Right.
It's not something new. It made headline news last week for all of 5 minutes, it seems like. People seem to care. And then, when I was on my way out here, I'm telling people, I'm going to Jackson, Mississippi to cover the water crisis. And half of them are like, what water crisis?
Right.
Meanwhile, when even at the federal level, they're getting questions about it. The White House press secretary was like, we've sent money to Mississippi for clean water. It's like, well,
Right.
apparently it's not enough.
Jackson.
Yeah, it doesn't get to Jackson, and apparently it's not enough. You mentioned there too, like, people have been talking about this in the 70s and 80s. I spoke with someone who says that they remember their grandparents boiling the water to be able to use it in Jackson. It's ridiculous, and when you look back at the history, the governor during the last water crisis, again, as a water crisis after water crisis, said if people don't want boil water notices, maybe they should pay their water bills.
People are definitely paying their water bills for water that they can't really use for a lot of things. So
Right.
I think Tate Reeves, you should just know that. And he had his own private water truck, while there are people literally out here probably dying every day in this situation, things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, even yesterday too, speaking with people at a senior center, some of the residents can't drive. They're elderly. They don't have vehicles. They can't carry cases of water. And some of the state sites aren't giving. They're like, hey, I'm from the senior center. No volunteers are making it to us.
Right.
Can I have a couple extra cases to give to residents? And they're, sorry, 1 case per car, which I understand the 1 case per car thing, but like, at some point, there needs to be some exceptions when it's like, hey, my senior living facility is running out of water. The federal government's happy to send money to all of these causes overseas. This is happening today, and no one's doing anything about it. I guess if there's anything that you wanted folks to know outside of here about what's actually going on in Jackson, what would you tell them? And then also definitely be sure to include like how folks can donate to Cooperation Jackson.
All right, you can donate at our website. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and that'll direct you to our website where you all can donate. And thank you all so much. We appreciate all the donations, and that's how this is possible for us to be giving out water to the community and working to do some deliveries, like you said earlier, about senior living. People who don't have transportation are still going to need water. So we are working to try to have a coalition to go and take care of those people as well. And if you know anyone in Jackson who needs water, please hit us up, and we'll try to get water to their location if they're somewhere where they can't come get it. But yes, so the situation in Jackson that I just want everyone to know is our community, we're trying to come together during times like this instead of standing kind of in a more individualistic way, because we know that community, I feel like, is the answer to our issues and just needs to depend on each other. And we have so much power when we come together as people, and it's really the state and quite frankly, not very good. I don't like to say evil, but bad forces at play that want us to know or want us to believe that we don't have power as individuals and that we shouldn't come together and that we should be individualistic. I don't believe any of that's true. I believe in a very communalistic way of operating, and I think people who have lived in poverty kind of understand that and the value of relationships and being able to depend on each other, and that can really save you. So thanks to everyone who sent love and energy and money and anything to Jackson. We appreciate that, and we're going to need a lot of help, but I have a lot of faith in the community and in the people that we're doing this work with. So yes, thank you to everyone, and yeah. possible.
Thanks so much, Maddie. I really
And I
appreciate
actually
it.
have a few more points that
No,
kinda
please,
cover for
definitely.
Cooperation
No,
Jackson.
definitely do. Yeah.
Just so that the community knows, this is Cooperation Jackson's official statement. We will be doing our best to serve the community in the weeks ahead. Our community here in Jackson and West Jackson, specifically, because that's where we are. The federal government needs to commit to repairing the city's water and sewage infrastructure. We believe that. Okay. And number 3, we oppose the system being privatized or regionalized. And we need a just transition and real solutions to the climate crisis, as these disasters are going to become completely untenable if we don't end climate change and take this on together. So yeah, thank you. Long live the revolution. All power to the people.
Hey everybody, Lewis here with Status Coup. Today I'm at a water distribution center set up by a volunteer organization called Cooperation Jackson, just on Capitol Street. Cooperation Jackson has been focused on this issue for a while now. I just spoke with Maddie. Maddie talked about how, she's been boiling water, for a long time. She's been boiling water for 10 years in Jackson, it sounds like. She talked about, hearing from her family that back in the 70s and 80s, they were talking about how the water system here needed to be repaired and how years of neglect and lack of funding actually finding its way to Jackson proper, has led us to this moment where, this is still a major problem. It's been brought into the limelight for all of 5 minutes last week, seemingly, and now no one seems to be doing anything about it. But on the ground here, I mean, these folks are fending for themselves. These volunteer organizations, and not just for water. Cooperation Jackson they're doing everything from helping each other mow their lawns to providing water to, purchasing abandoned buildings. And there are plenty of them in this area, but this is an old shopping plaza that they bought and they're turning into more of a community center type thing. These folks are fending for themselves and, creating organizations to make this happen, which is great and all. However, in 2022 in the United States of America, you shouldn't need to be doing this. People here in the U.S. should be ashamed of themselves for not paying attention to this. Federal government should be ashamed of themselves for not paying attention to this. This is a terrible situation that these people should not have to be dealing with. If you're able to donate to Cooperation Jackson, I'll leave the links below. You can follow them on social media as well. We'll have more from Jackson over the next couple days. Just wanted to give folks an idea of what this area right on the edge of downtown looks like. This is an abandoned shopping mall. There used to be a laundromat here. This is a massive abandoned building. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but the roof is caving in up there. Also got what I was told here is formerly a bank, formerly a United Way, fully abandoned. We've got an abandoned daycare. And then we've got some apartments over here. I just told that the school in this area, there was one close by, closed down. Now folks are being bused to the other side of the city to get to school.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.